what a gorgeous shot that is. Welcome to an airborne look at Denver and the foothills beyond. The Rockies back in action this evening as they welcome in the Fish, the Miami Marlins in town. The Rockies just swept the Milwaukee Brewers out of town. And good evening, everybody, along with Jorge George Frazier back from Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm Drew Goodman. The Rockies win in dramatic fashion yesterday, 2 in the 9th inning, 7-6, their 7th walk-off of the year. They're swinging the bats well, but before we talk about the Rockies, we must learn a little bit more about the Miami Marlins. They can't score too much of late.
Yeah, they can't score a lot of runs, and tonight's lineup only has one guy with double-digit home runs in at 21, and you know who that guy is. He's hitting them all over the ballpark in batting practice. But you look at where they rank with average home runs, RBIs, and strikeouts, 10th most in baseball with 878. They swing and miss an awful lot. And I will say this, they are in a tough division because they're playing Philadelphia, great pitching staff. They're playing Atlanta, good pitching staff. And I think that makes it a little more difficult for them to have the success that they would have in some other division. But yet they have not hit. And again, they became big-time sellers in the middle of this thing. They've had a lot of injuries, and their ball club, quite honestly, just haven't played good baseball.
No, they do have a couple of guys playing well. Jose Reyes has been terrific, particularly in the second half, and the guy you were alluding to, Giancarlo Stanton, he has some kind of power. So the Miami Marlins in town. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about that Rockies offense. They have really erupted in the month of August. 2 weeks for George and I, at least, to choreograph and get that one down accurately. Eric Young Jr., if there's a hotter player in baseball, we need to see him. And he's added the big flies. But it's not just EY. The Rockies as a whole have really swung the bats well.
You know, you watch all these young kids. Does it make you think back to maybe '02 when you saw Atkins and Hop and all these other young guys come up through the system and get an opportunity and be able to perform the way they perform? Because when I watch this young group of guys collectively finally getting the opportunity to play on an everyday basis, and it's guys they've traded for too. DJ LeMahieu swung the bat extremely well. EY finally getting a chance to do what he does. But if you look over the last 9 ball games, they've scored 45 runs, 5 runs a game. Starters are starting to pitch 5 innings and contain it, and you're starting to get some late inning hits and runs. And let me tell you, as a team, when you start to get this happening in a great way, where you're all high-fiving and jumping on each other at the end of the game after a season of what you've had this year, it's fun to shake hands and see the excitement. And as you watch, there are all a bunch of young kids out there hopping around on a baseball field.
And there'll be a lot more young kids in the lineup again tonight. Up top, once again, will be Eric Young Jr., hoping to be the catalyst. It's the Rockies and the Miami Marlins. First of 4. Come on back to Coors Field with us. Root Sports is brought to you by your neighborhood Toyota stores. Toyota, moving forward. By CenturyLink, fast speed and a low monthly price. Visit CenturyLink.com. And by Southwest Airlines, find our fares online only at Southwest.com. Very pleasant night at the ballpark. The Rockies in the midst of a 7-game homestand. This one off to a much better start than the last one. The Rockies went 1-8 their last homestand. They're 3-0 after sweeping the Milwaukee Brewers. They'll play the Marlins for 4. They met Miami down in South Florida earlier this year. As you see Ozzie Guillen. And Ozzie's team took 2 of 3 from Colorado. Ozzie and Jim Tracy got together for an extended conversation, a big bear hug before the ball game during batting practice. One of the great characters of the game who a lot of people forget, George, Ozzie was a heck of a player.
Yeah, he's a really good player. Played against him in the latter part of my career, first part of his. He was a very good shortstop and a guy that liked to play the game, but Alex White's going to try to handle his lineup today.
So White runs to the mound, and the Rockies follow suit behind him wearing the purple tops. Let's take a look at Brian Peterson and the lineup for the Miami Marlins. It's brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Brian Peterson will be followed by Gorkys Hernandez. He'll be in center field. Jose Reyes, who's spent most of his career naturally leading off, the last 3 weeks has batted in the 3-hole. He's been terrific of late. Carlos Lee, the former Houston Astro, Milwaukee Brewer. Then Giancarlo Stanton. He hit the 21 home runs. Greg Dobbs will bat next. He'll be at third base. Donovan Solano, a rookie, Rob Brantley. And on the hill will be the veteran Ricky Nolasco. Well, Alex White, George, trying to sink the ball a little bit more, and he's taking some velocity off, trying to get early contact.
Well, the more velocity you add, a lot of times the ball straightens out on you. I think it's more about extension chew, a little change of these hands at the top of the delivery, getting out of the glove better and quicker. His last win came June 3rd, but that's not necessarily tell you how he's throwing the baseball. Last 3 starts, 338 earned run average. He'll rely on the fastball 60% of the time, slider, changeup. And again, the changeup is a split finger, which he gets a lot of ground ball outs on. That's why it's equal to that slider. He likes to utilize it against left-handers. Interesting, you talked about his ability to get the ball on the ground. Right now, 3rd in the National League with at least 60 innings pitched. Westbrook, you would expect that. Leads it with 2.67 ground balls per inning, outs, and then Cahill, and then Alex White. So all that good news for Alex, right near to the top with 2 premier sinker ball pitchers.
Yeah, that's a good group to be with. Defensively, the Rockies will have Cargo naturally in left field. Dexter Fowler's back, bothering him a little bit, and he's not in there. Ewile will play center. Tyler Colvin, the hero from the 9th inning yesterday afternoon, will be in right field. Welcome back, Michael Kadire. Michael at first base just came off the disabled list. LeMahieu, Herrera, and Pacheco as we go right to left. And William Rosario, who in a pinch hitting role in the 9th inning yesterday, got that rally going. And EY singled, then Colvin brought them both home, and the Rockies win 7-6. So here we go. Peterson takes a sinker outside, ball 1. Peterson hitting .310 in his career against the Rockies, just 8 games. And get this, he's got 5 career triples. 4 have come against Colorado. (2-0). Well, we have our official game time temperature, George. It's a little cooler than it's been at 73 degrees. That's in there for a strike.
Beautiful day at the ballpark.
Yep.
This is just outstanding. 73 degrees. Game time, you got to get excited about that.
Ground ball to first, and White will take the feed from Kadire, 1 out. Well, George, did you have a good time in Tulsa the last week and a half or so?
Oh, I'm having a better time now.
Look at what we brought for you, because we thought that you looked famished from your time off.
Is there any fish and chicken in here? Because you like chicken and fish.
I don't know. We're going to find out, though. Hey, listen, these have been
Absolutely.
going like right
That's
out the
awesome.
gate, because the last 3 days the Rockies have produced at least 7 runs. So our friends at Taco Bell have been handing out all kinds of Rockies taco specials, and we thank you very much for delivering some right to our little booth.
Yeah, this is awesome. I think I'm going to have
You
one.
actually look like you
Go
slimmed
ahead.
down, so you can have 4 or 5
I didn't
tonight.
slim down any. I'm having 12. You just keep your hands out of it.
Trying to tell a
You and
little
Dougie.
white lie for
You and
everybody.
Dougie.
Oh, 1 hopper to the third baseman, Pacheco, 2 outs. Gorkys Hernandez retired, and that'll bring up Jose Reyes. All Reyes has done is hit 32 of his last 33. We kind of feel like this would be an appropriate time to tell everybody that if you'd like tacos, remember, when the Rockies do score 7 or more during any ball game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6 and get your Rockies Taco Special.
I'm
George?
an old-fashioned guy, too, because I like the hard shell. Some of the kids like that soft wrap. I like the hard shell. And that's that new tortilla.
Yes, that's really good.
It's very good.
It's Taco Bell on the inside, Doritos on the outside, George. Frazier will be back with everybody in the 5th inning. Reyes takes ball 2. Jose, in his first season with the Marlins, chatting with him before the ball game, has yet to purchase a house in Miami. Plans to. He still has his home on Long Island. That's a strike. And he laughed. He said, you know, he's from the Dominican. He said, I really like the cold weather. So he's actually going back up there in the winter.
Explain that.
It's the first time I've ever heard that. 2-2. Nice job changing speeds there by Alex White. Reyes scuffled initially, 220 in the month of April, but since then a 301 average. He's one of the elite players in the game. Tracked that one all the way to the catcher's glove. It missed. 3-2. And he's having a big month of August. On the ground to second. And DJ LeMahieu throws out Jose Reyes. 3 ground balls to begin. You got to love it. We'll see the Rockies on offense next. Eric Young Jr. will lead things off. The average has risen to 323. Time for the club lead with a fellow by the name of Carlos Gonzalez. And speaking of cargo, he'll follow Tyler Colvin in the lineup. Michael Kadire will give him some protection. He'll bat 4th in his return to the Rockies. Willeen Rosario, Jordan Pacheco, DJ LeMahieu, Johnny Herrera will bat 8th. And Alex White, of course, will bat 9th. Ricky Nolasco on the hill. One of those guys, George, for most of his career, a notorious Rockies killer.
Well, he's been 6-1 in his career versus the Rockies. Now, the Rockies did get after him and got after him really good here in this ballpark. He gave up 11 runs in 3 innings here, 11 earned runs. Fastball, he'll mix it up with everything. Slider change. If you start to chase the slider and the curveball, it only makes his fastball that much better. Fastball will run anywhere 88, 91, 92 miles an hour, but it'll have run and sink to it.
He's been a bit of an enigma, George, because Nolasco at times will pitch like a top shelf starter, and other times, I mean, he could have a stretch, and he's actually in one right now where he looks like he's a borderline 5th starter.
Well, since the break, 1-5, 661 earned run average. The opposition's hit near 340 against him, so it hasn't been good since the break. But if you take starts only versus the Rockies, and again, this is something Doug looked up for me, an earned run average, 5-1 and earned run average. Take that one loss out where it's 11 runs, 238 earned run average.
0-2. EY pulls it toward the hole. It's going to sneak through. Eric Young Jr. off and running again. Well, let's show you the home run from yesterday. There was no local television on this, and EY went opposite field. Now remember, on Tuesday night he hit one off the facade of the second deck in right center. So, George, this has not been a bunch of slap hits through the left side of the infield. this great run of his.
No, it has not been. And again, this is a guy that really worked out hard, diligently in the offseason. And now all of a sudden you're seeing he's starting to reap the benefits and the excitement of playing in the game on a daily basis.
21 for his last 42 after that knock, including 3 home runs. The most important stat for EY is runs scored. He's got 11 of them over his last 10 games. Tyler Colvin's got a little 5-game hitting streak going. Of course, he had the double right down the first base line to win the game yesterday. Rockies began the bottom of the ninth trailing 6-5. 2-0 count.
Young catcher behind the plate, Rob Brantley, played on the Salt River Rafters, team that won the Arizona Fall League. He came over to trade with Jacob Turner, a big right-hander that was the #1 pick for the Tigers a couple of years ago. Brantley, very good catch and throw guy. He's out of California, as you can see, 6'2", 205 pounds, a young one, just 23 years old.
Two-one. See if EY takes off with the young catcher. Who's that cutting in front of our camera there, Frazier?
Didn't notice.
Somebody walked right in front of the lens.
Cotton candy guy? Was he still? Got to make a living, right? You got to sell a little cotton candy.
I understand. Junior not going, and this ball is lifted to shallow. Well, I was going to say shallow right. It's not even going to get to shallow right.
Pretty stiff breeze coming in from center field, but yesterday Tyler Colvin at the end of this ball game, was it special or what? You sure do like to see this, Drew. And game on the line late in the game, and you got a chance to win something. It goes right down the line. He's screaming fair ball, and then it's off to the races. Molene's got to come around to score, and then oh, here comes the speed and the high throw. EY scores, and the high fives start everywhere.
That's not supposed to happen late in the ball game in a one-run game. You're supposed to be playing no doubles, but it snuck down the line past. Took an interesting hop and a good hop, a Colorado Rockies Loto Magic hop, and got past Corey Hart. Cargo had another 2 hits yesterday. He had a 4-hit game 2 days ago. 6 for his last 8. He takes a strike from Ricky Nolasco. Cargo 4 for 16 lifetime with a home run against Nolasco.
See if he gets into a pattern here. He threw first pitch fastball to EY, then he went changeup. It wasn't in the location. He got a swing and miss down and in. Repeated it. There it is, that changeup. 81 with some fade and sink to it. 2 pitches well off the plate.
Must be getting it there pretty quick. EY has not attempted to steal, trying to keep that right side open.
2 things have happened. I mean, he's quick to the plate. He's also had a varied his move over to first base. And anytime a pitcher can stay out of a pattern of what somebody hasn't seen in the past, obviously it'll disrupt your timing of trying to steal a base.
Cargo hitting .395 at Coors Field this year, the best mark in baseball for a player in his home yard. EY started to go, and Brantley loses sight of it. Now EY will move up.
Nice job of blocking the baseball, but not such a good job of trying to find the baseball. We talked about his ability. He really slid out well there, took it off the chest. I think he probably is on track with the ball, but when it bounced up and hit Gonzalez, he thought the ball would continue right, and Gonzalez kept the ball in front of the plate for him. You'll see here when this ball hits, it runs up the chest of Gonzalez and reverts and goes the other way.
Here's the 2-2. Cargo got a fastball up, fouled it straight back. So Junior in the 9th inning yesterday at first base on a ball down the right field line. Watch him motor.
talk about arms that throw 100. Guys that hit balls at upper decks, how they come along about every 20, 25 years.
This is twisting toward the seats, foul and out of play.
Speed like that comes around about every 10 years too.
There seems to be a growing number of players in the game, young players, that can really motor.
Well, and again, there's guys that are fast, and then what they do is all of a sudden you go and work on your speed, your first step, quickness, and everything else. All it does is just add to your ability to play the game of baseball.
Strike three. Cargo got caught looking. So Gonzalez is gone. 2 outs, and that'll bring up Kadire.
Wanted to elevate a fastball. They did, but it ran back an awful lot of run. I think that's why Cargo probably gave up on this pitch, because as it came to the plate, see this upper half kind of go back. Gave up on it. Gets called a strike. Vanover has shown a high strike zone tonight, with both guys on the mound.
So good to see Michael Kadire back after missing 11 ball games with the oblique strain. And he comes back. Matt McBride goes back to Colorado Springs. Michael had a couple of games down in the Springs. The last 2 days went 6 for 9, so he mastered AAA.
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to say. He found out that, you know what, AAA, I think I can still handle that league and do a pretty good job of it. First at bat down there, he hit a home run.
Got a couple breaking balls. He's behind 0-2. Kadire 3 for 3 lifetime against Ricky Nolasco. Junior at second with 2 outs. Nolasco, stocky guy, 6 foot, 230 pounds. 73 and 62 in his career. See if he goes back to the breaking ball. Yep, and he got him. So Ricky Nolasco gave up the leadoff single to Eric Young Jr., but he prevented him from scoring. We'll go to the second, no score.
Series against the Marlins as we head to the top of the second. We are very excited at Root Sports Rocky Mountain to be rolling out our brand new Game Connect. You at home can follow along if you just go to rootsports.com/Rocky Mountain. I'm going to ask Mike Fox, our producer, to give us a little help. He's lifetime in the truck, and this is what you can do on Game Connect. You can follow pitch-by-pitch action. You can compare stats, which is a great feature if you just click on the Game Stats button next to the home homepage. It gives you all the stats you want. You can even go on Twitter live from Game Connect. You can tweet about your Rockies. You can read what other Rockies fans are tweeting about your team. And there's a great section called Ask the Booth. It's where you submit your questions, and we'll try and answer some live on the air throughout the broadcast at different points throughout the season. Don't forget to go to Game Connect, follow along. It's a great tool. We love it. We use it too, right, Drew?
Absolutely. We have it up right now in the booth. It is it's a really neat way of enhancing your enjoyment of the game and becoming more informed. We're using it Tuesday, messing around with it. Alex White with a 1-1 count on El Caballo, Carlos Lee. Lee got traded from Houston to Miami on July 4th. And the interesting thing about what the Marlins have done here of late, nationally. That's long gone. You've seen Carlos Lee do that before. 1-0 Miami as Lee has hit his 7th home run. He has driven in 55 now. I'll get back to that story in a moment. Carlos Lee going deep, and for Alex White, George, we've seen a lot more ground balls, but it seems like when the ball goes in the air, a lot of times it doesn't land until it's on the other side of the wall.
Well, part of the reason of that is it flattens out. Watch the run on this baseball. See, not much sink at all. You can see that ball start from the outside, and you'll see it really well here on the Mike Shaw. And a second, let's go back to it, show it to you on the Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo. How the ball, what it's going to do is, see how this ball's running flat plane here. There's not a lot of downward movement run, and that's what happens when you lead the ball up. That's when it gets pretty hittable.
Well, this guy can hit it as far as anybody in the game. The book on him is trying to bust him in. Jamie Moyer tried to do that. He didn't get in far enough when we were down in South Florida, and he almost hit the ball to Cuba. Got jammed there. Good pitch. Pacheco's going to throw out Stanton. Good pickup at first by Kadire. Here's the ball, George, that he hit against Jamie Moyer.
See, these are the kind you ought to be proud of. Everybody watch that one.
It knocked out. Watch the scoreboard. Knocked out the scoreboard. I asked Giancarlo in the clubhouse today, I said, was that, one of the best you've hit? And he said, yeah, it really was. He said, I guess he's a very humble kid. He said, I guess they said it came off my bat.
Sounded different.
Pretty good. I mean, he really was trying to be humble about it. And what he was referring to is the ball came off the bat at 122 miles an hour, that home run. It is the highest speed ever recorded by a ball exiting the bat since they started recording that. I mean, they study everything in baseball. Bats, we talk about pitcher, miles per hour to the plate. Well, they talk about bat speed also, and the ball coming off the bat, 122 miles an hour. Here's the 1-1 on Dobbs.
By the way, Yoeli Chassin starting at Colorado Springs tonight. 3 no-hit innings so far. 32 pitches, 22 strikes. As the Rockies will monitor Chassin and AAA.
2-1 on Greg Dobbs. Just off the plate, 3-1. So I was telling a story about Carlos Lee, and really it's more about the Miami Marlins. Around baseball, everybody's saying, man, they're doing the same thing they did a few years ago. They signed all these players in the offseason. Now that they're just getting rid of a ton of payroll. Well, truth be told, they were playing pretty well. July starts, and they go and make a move. They're buyers. They go get Carlos Lee. They needed help offensively. And then a few weeks later, they're not doing so well. They'd hit a tailspin, and that's when they moved Hanley Ramirez, who now is in a 2-year tailspin, if you will. Gabby Sanchez, who was an all-star last year, hadn't hit since the all-star break last season, and along with, he was moved on. Omar Infante and Anibal Sanchez moved to Detroit. So initially, there's a line drive and a base hit. Initially, the Marlins were actually buyers
When they started the month, they needed something at first base, and that's why they went and got Carlos Lee. Ozzie, you're hilarious. You should have seen the signs he was throwing out then if you're watching at home. Pretty nice job of hitting there. Again, one of those flat fastballs that stayed up into the zone. Dobbs, a professional hitter, just took it to the other way instead of trying to pull the baseball.
So 1 on and 1 out and 1 in on the home run by Carlos Lee. And Donovan Solano's up.
How about this, Drew? In a minute, I want to show you something. And you played a little baseball, so where would you go with all these signs? Watch, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. Not sure, not sure. Nothing.
There's nothing on because he didn't hit the indicators his nose. 0-1 on Solano. Did he go to his nose here, George?
No, he went to the middle of the cap and a little bit of the ear.
Oh, look, the delayed wipe off.
Yeah.
So he may have put something on, but he just wiped it off.
Never know, yeah. And a lot of times, managers that stand on the front steps like that and give the signs, there's typically a coach somewhere down the railing away from him, giving a lot of those signs.
EY tracking toward right center field and make the catch. Solano retired. Yes, George, it's the guy who's like 30 feet from Joey Espada yelling, "Bunt."
Yeah,
steal.
I mean, I'm serious. I mean, a lot of times, you know, he is the decoy. I mean, you know, Ozzie will be the decoy, and somebody else is over on the other side giving signs, and everybody's watching Ozzie to see what he's doing. I've said that I've had managers do that. Tom Kelly was a master at it in Minnesota.
And they're real simple, like 2 fingers.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, you know, go ahead. They go like point to second. You go that way. Yeah.
2 outs. That'll bring up Rob Brantley, making his second career start behind the plate. Brantley, one of the guys that came from the Detroit organization in that trade, looking for his first career hit. You mentioned that you saw him play in the fall league, George. And
I like him. I mean, this is a kid's left-handed hitting catchers. They're hard to find. And, you know, for him, he's going to get this opportunity here with this ball club. And a guy that handled the bat fairly well there in the Arizona Fall League. Of course, you have the hard infields and light air, so you get some hits you normally wouldn't get. But I know that the guys with the Rockies, Parker, Frazier, Rob Scahill, they enjoyed throwing to him. They thought he did a really good job receiving the ball. They had 2 pretty good catchers there. Brantley was one of them, and Jason Castro, the starting catcher for the Houston Astros, the other.
And a ground ball to second. LeMahieu puts a knee down, throws to first. In the inning, Carlos Lee hit another home run. That's familiar for Carlos. 1-0. Carlos Lee home run is 356th of his career, just two more than Todd Helton. Sun setting at Coors Field. Rockies in the second inning will have Willeen Rosario to lead off, Jordan Pacheco and DJ LeMahieu to follow. There's El Caballo, native of Panama. Got a big ranch in Panama and a big ranch not too far from Houston, about 25 minutes outside of town. You know, he's good friends with George. Richie Dower over at third base, because those two were together in Milwaukee.
Ah, there you go. I forgot about that. Those two being together. Richie being an infield instructor. Worked a little bit with the outfield too in Milwaukee. Richie was third base coach, dugout coach in Milwaukee.
Carlos came out on the field today, walked right to near the white line, because Richie was throwing his round of batting practice and was wearing him out. Richie, who lives life with a smile on his face, was enjoying it. And Rosario's gone. Nolasco on 3 pitches strikes out Willeen. 3 punch outs in a row, in fact, for Nolasco as Jordan Pacheco comes up. Join in on the conversation. We invite you every day to join Toyota Talk. Text Toyota to 720-720. We'll do it in the 6th inning typically. Text right now. You'll be entered to win a 1-year family membership to the Denver Zoo, so you can see the new Toyota Elephant Passage exhibit, as well as the rest of the creatures down at the zoo adjacent to City Park. Pacheco fouls one off the helmet of Rob Brantley. Jordan with a .309 batting average, driven in 29. Pacheco 3 for 6 so far on the homestand, 1 for 3 yesterday in a walk. Hitting .324 in the second half. 22 points ahead of Nori Aoki, who we just saw with Milwaukee. That's out of play. Good eye by Jordan. Jordan had an 11-game hitting streak earlier this year.
I like the fact that once he got put into an RBI position in the batting order, he seemed to respond. There are a lot of complaints that third base area needs to have more run production over there, need more RBIs out of that position, and well, he started to show that pretty well too. Bumped it up to 29 RBIs. I don't think he'll ever hit 25 home runs, but I think he can hit 10 to 15 and drive in a lot of runs.
This ball is stroked to deep center field. Turn is back, going back to Hernandez, way back, and he'll make the catch. Right up against the wall. You're talking about home runs, what he does in the future. He's strong already, but George, as he gets another winner in the weight room, maybe that carries another 8-10 feet.
Yeah, you hope so. That's exactly right. I mean, this is a missed opportunity because it's a missed pitch by Nolasco. He ran that fastball right back into the bat head of Jordan Pacheco, and I thought when it left the bat, thinking he might have had it. Hernandez obviously did his work in batting practice.
2 outs, DJ LeMahieu at the plate. He gets a fastball away, ball 1. Fastball at 93. DJ swinging it well, 11 for his last 21 at the plate, including that home run against Matt Cain, his first career home run. And DJ drives this ball toward left center field. Nobody's going to catch this one. It's going to roll all the way to the wall. And LeMahieu, now with a little bobble out there in left center field, is going to cruise into third with a triple. getting a lot of firsts out of the way, George.
Yes,
First
he
career
is.
triple.
Yeah, you know what? You looked at that pitch and the location of it coming into the plate, a very elevated fastball. And, you know, DJ being 6'4", pretty good high ball hitter. Showing pretty good speed here, running into third base with a triple.
Well, the Marlins have struggled to score. And so even though it's just the second inning here, with the 8th place hitter, Johnny Herrera, up at 2 outs, first base naturally unoccupied, they're going to put him on. Ozzie says, you know what, we're not going to mess around. That's fine. The pitcher can hit here. A lot of teams, you know, won't necessarily do it this way early in a ball game.
Well, a lot of times, depending on who the 8-hole hitter is. I think if he's a slap guy that you're concerned, and, you know, he can put a lot of contact, he's not a high strikeout guy, then you go ahead and pitch, you know, then you're going to probably put him on. But if he's a strikeout guy, now you go the other way. But Ozzie's saying, my team's struggling. We're not scoring a lot of runs. We'll let him take a shot at Alex White. White on the year, 105 average.
Rockies trailing 1-0 on the Carlos Lee home run. We're in the bottom of the second inning. North Carolina native Alex White. This kicks away. LeMahieu's going to try to score, and a poor move by Rob Brantley. For some reason, he looked to second first and not toward the runner coming down the line. They would have had him by 10 feet.
But here's
DJ LeMahieu scores to tie it up.
But here's the other side of this, too. Did the game get too fast for Brantley? Did he obviously, when he makes this first look, you're going to see the ball scoot away from him. He's looking down at second. And then they yell here, there was hesitation. You know what? He's out. He's out. You're going to watch right here. Watch. Foot has not touched yet. He's tagged and he's out. Brantley had a little bit of argument there.
Ozzie started out of the dugout and then stopped. So the Rockies even it up on a wild pitch. And again, had Brantley just looked for, I mean, you got to look to the lead runner first. So,
and you know what? Here's the thing about it. I'm sure that the Marlins thinking, send him. What do we got to, you know, they're going to send him home. Why not?
You got the
But
pitcher
the Rockies,
up.
that's right. If he gets out, I mean, you don't want to do that. You just need to, you know, start an inning with a fresh body, but take advantage of a chance maybe to get a run across.
Jose Reyes will throw out White, but the Rockies will take advantage of that wild pitch to even things up. DJ LeMahieu's triple set it all up. plate, get more miles per gallon with the hottest car line in America, Hyundai. The Rockies will play 3 more after tonight with the Marlins. We'll have them all on Root Sports. Tomorrow at 6, the pregame show begins. Saturday at 5:30. Sunday afternoon at 12:30, we get things rolling with the pregame show. And then it's off to New York, 4 against the Mets, 3 against the Cubs on the road. We love the Rockies. 1-1 ball game. Ricky Nolasco will face Alex White to begin the 3rd inning. Then Brian Peterson and Gorkys Hernandez. With George Frazier and Jenny Kavnar, I'm Drew Goodman. Yesterday, we were talking about how the Marlins haven't scored. Yesterday, they beat the Phils 9-2. In the 4th inning, Greg Dobbs knocked in a pair of runs. It was the first time the Marlins had scored for Ozzie in 30 innings. They had been shut out 3 straight games.
Well, we talked about it in the open too. Look at the league they play in, the division they're in over there with Philadelphia. It can happen there in a hurry. It can happen with the Atlanta staff if things are going in the right direction. And if you catch Dickey in New York, you're going to make a lot of right turns and go sit down too.
And of course, the Nationals, every guy they throw out there has had a terrific year.
That's a heck of a division to try to compete in.
The Nationals, I don't know if you've checked, folks, lately. The Nationals have the best record in baseball.
Well, rightfully so for Davey Johnson, right? I mean, what the heck? He can go out on a very high note and manage this year and maybe get into the playoffs.
I haven't asked you this on the air, and I'm going to ask you. I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. 2-1.
Let me ask. You're going to ask me about Strasburg.
Obviously, I am, and he's coming off Tommy John and Mike Rizzo, who we have great respect for as a general manager. Mike's done a terrific job. He was in Arizona, and Mike's holding firm to what he said earlier, that he is going to shut Strasburg down. He's not going to overexpose him to innings as a young pitcher coming off Tommy John surgery. Now they have a legitimate chance, if to win it all. You never know what happens in the postseason, but they are one of the elite teams in baseball, and he's at the head of their staff.
He is at the head of their staff. I think what Rizzo's looking at, quite honestly, this is basically what he just told me when they were here in Denver at dinner one night. He told me, he said, you know what, I'm not going to risk the future for 2 starts or 3 in September. I feel that, where we are, what we have, I think we have an opportunity to be somewhat there. John Lannon's pitched well in AAA. He's come up, made 3 starts, pitched well there. It's not Strasburg for sure, but his opinion is, and do I agree with it? I don't know the health of the kid in between starts. I don't know how much time it takes him to recover in starts, if he's struggling to recover in starts. So their medical staff knows that better than any of us, and maybe that's what he's basing his decisions on. Gio Gonzalez has won 15 ball games. He's done a nice job for him there.
Yeah, I guess
Zimmerman is a lot better than his 9-7 record.
Yeah,
I'll assure you of that.
Yeah, Jordan Zimmerman. In some circles they wonder, well, could you be creative with Strasburg? Maybe have skip him, a couple times down the stretch to limit the innings. Just have to do side work.
Originally, when he came out with this, and again, I talked to him a little bit, that their original plan was kind of like what they did with Porcello in Detroit. Take 2 weeks off in the middle of the year, throw some bullpens, play long toss, come back to where we limit 4 starts. We take away, 24 to 30 innings for you. And that's what they originally thought to do, and then now they've changed their minds and gone to the other direction. I get what he's saying from that standpoint, that if he feels the rest of this ball club can carry it, which he obviously feels they can, that he doesn't want to risk the future for the now. Some people have suggested that Scott Boras may be behind a little bit of this too, because Scott represents Strasburg, which I think Scott also represented Mark Pryor, who had 230 innings his rookie year, I think, and then 240 the next year, and he was basically done.
Alex White loses Brian Peterson. 1 out. Peterson will go to first base. Wells Fargo customers, get your 2-for-1 Rockies tickets today by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Wells Fargo Bank, member FDIC. Peterson swiped 4 bases in 5 attempts. Club leaders Jose Reyes with 28 bags. That's not a surprise. Hernandez tries to bunt his way on. You know, you forget, George, that Mark Pryor is still trying.
Yeah,
to
he's
pitch.
in AAA right now, and he's actually averaging more strikeouts per innings.
Uh-oh, this ball's hit well to right. Going back is Colvin. He's going to get there.
He's averaging more strikeouts than innings pitched right now, but he's also averaging almost a walk per inning.
He's got a 1-0 record with Pawtucket, 19 ball games for Boston's AAA affiliate, a 3.96 ERA.
Follow the Rockies on your phone with MLB.com @BAT12 app, featuring pitch tracking, highlights, and more.
You know what I think, George? It's an unscientific theory, but you just don't know. You can't simply look at mechanics, because Mark Pryor supposedly had flawless mechanics. That was a thought on him. Hey, this guy won't break. Power pitcher with flawless mechanics. He's not going to get hurt.
Tommy John
and that's
twice.
all he's had.
Tommy John twice for John Smoltz. And a very good delivery, very good arm action. Nobody anticipated him having Tommy John twice either.
And the Tommy John, guy you know well, George,
right,
who had the original surgery, and I know they've come a long way with the surgery and the rehabilitation from that surgery. Tommy John the next year threw over 200 innings. He never missed a start after he came back from Tommy John surgery for more than a decade.
But not a hard thrower either. Tommy was never a guy that threw in the mid-90s.
No.
I mean, he was always a touch and feel guy, so I think that made it easier for Tommy John to come back from it than, say, a guy that's a quick twitch arm action. It also has, you know, throws the ball in the low 90s and has a nasty slider to go with it. Tommy just sunk it, cut the baseball, and changed speeds with stuff. I think that's why it made it easier for him to come back.
0-1 on Jose Reyes with 2 outs. Peterson at first, outside.
I think the one thing that would be difficult for me to live with if it was Rizzo is if he did go out there and make a start in September and blew out again, or if he got hurt. It would be very difficult for me to live with that if that's something like that happened to him. Now, I can understand taking a couple of weeks off September and running back out there in the playoffs if he was sharp enough to handle it.
Peterson takes off, and the throw is not going to get him. Pretty good transition on a low pitch by Rosario.
22 of 60 now he's been able to accomplish so far, a little under 37%. Very accurate throw. Just the jump on White was able to beat this. Mike Shaw Super Mo give you a shot of this. Foot hits. It's going to carry over to the top. Oh, could have got a tag on him right there when he was airborne.
So that's the 119 stolen base from Miami, 5th for Peterson. The 119 leads all of baseball. It's 17 more than the other resident in Florida, Tampa Bay. Ozzie likes the running game. In fact, he made a remark recently that he'd like the Marlins in this new ballpark to play like the Cardinals and Whitey Herzog's teams that you're so familiar with, George, when they had one big bat in the middle, Jack Clark, and everybody else.
Well, he likes action. Ozzie likes movement. He gets bored with the game when the game gets slow.
Good pitch by Alex White to get Jose Reyes. We're in a 1-1 ball game, middle of 3. Game Connect. You can do this at home. You can jump on board, and it's a great way to enhance your enjoyment of the ball game, follow the game statistically. There's a ton of graphics, interesting graphics that we can't always provide you quickly. For instance, the ball to strike ratio right now for Ricky Nolasco's 62% versus 38%. So 62% in the strike zone, which is the league average, by the way. His pitch counts at 56. You see what Eric Young Jr. has done in his career. You see what he's done tonight. 1 for 1.
Nice little bio on the players, too. I like that part of it.
This ball's hit the center field. Hernandez will go back and make the catch. One out on one pitch. Tyler Colvin will come up. Tyler popped to first. Colvin takes a strike. Mentioned that Larry Vanover is behind home plate. Dan Bellino's at first. Jerry Lane's the crew chief. Jerry's at second. And Mike Estabrook's at third.
Yeah, Larry, one of those veteran umpires, been around a long time. A very good strike zone, a very good controller of the game, I guess is the best way for me to put that.
One and two.
Working along with Dan Bellino, Jerry Lane, another veteran guy, and Mike Estabrook in this crew here in Denver watching the game and umpiring it.
This is the 19th year for Larry Vanover. And a strikeout for Ricky Nolasco, his fourth. Tonight's CenturyLink high-speed pitch, fast speed, a low monthly price. Visit CenturyLink.com. Nolasco 93, Alex White 92. Cargo caught looking on a hip side sinker his first time up. And that was the same type of pitch, but it was a changeup. Movement wise, that's what that first pitch did. It looked like he was way inside, and it moved back over the inside corner.
And a lot of it sold by Nolasco's body and his actions of how he threw the ball. Did it again.
Yeah, he went back to that splitter again. It's 1-1. Here's that fastball we were talking about that struck out Cargo. That was like a frisbee, George.
Yeah, it started on the inner half of the plate, ran to the outside, a little bit elevated, got the strikeout with Vanover, but he has called the high strike both sides.
1-1 ball game. It's got to be nice for Cargo, and this is not showing disrespect for the guys that have hit behind him lately. But there have been young guys, Willeen Rosario a lot. Now you have Michael Kadire behind you in the lineup. And Nolasco strikes out Gonzalez. Good inning for Ricky Nolasco. He apparently is on his game tonight. 5 strikeouts through the first 3 innings. second inning. El Caballo in his new uniform hits a home run against Alex White. Lifts it to left center field, number 356 in the career of Carlos Lee. The Rockies would get a 2-out triple from Tyler Colvin, and then on a wild pitch, didn't get that far away. DJ LeMahieu came down. I said Tyler Colvin. DJ LeMahieu hit the triple, and DJ able to score when Brantley looked to the runner on first base, trying to move up. That was Johnny Herrera instead of eyeballing DJ LeMahieu. Rockies took advantage of the break. It's 1-1 as we go to the fourth inning. Carlos Lee, Giancarlo Stanton, and Greg Dobbs to face Alex White. And other than that one mistake, it's been a pretty solid 3 innings of work. A lot of ground ball outs so far from Alex White. He's got 6 ground ball outs. He's got a strikeout, 2 balls that were caught in the outfield. Todd Helton recovering from hip surgery, sitting 2 home runs behind Carlos Lee. 354 for Todd. I mean, 356 for Lee.
For him to play in Houston the majority of this year and only have 6 home runs, now 7, that's surprising to me with that little short porch and left. This big man is strong. Of course, not a lot of protection around him in that lineup either, so if you don't have to pitch to him, you don't do it.
Thing you always point out about Carlos Lee, George, you have a 1-2 count on him. Big, strong man, a lot of home runs in his career. Doesn't strike out though.
No, he doesn't. He makes contact because he's got a wide stance. He's very short and quick to the baseball.
Well, you know what? White thought he had him struck out right there.
Maybe it wrapped around the plate a little bit too. It was a slider that came, I thought, around the plate. That's probably why he didn't get the call.
Right now, Lee, to illustrate our point, the toughest man in baseball to strike out. You know, would you ever think that about a guy that
very
has
good
hit
eyes.
as many home runs as Lee has?
Well, I tell you, the thing about him is, you know, it's kind of like Giambi. Look at all the home runs he hit and how many times he walks. They got a great eye for the strike zone.
He struck out only 33 times this year in almost 400 at bats. Here's the 3-2, and he walks. Second toughest man to strike out is Marco Scudero. Stanton coming up. AT&T trivia question. This is a great question. On this date in 1948, Babe Ruth died at the age of 53. He was one of the first 5 to be inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Who were the other 4? First class into Cooperstown. Lee at first, Stanton at the plate, ground ball to third, his first time up. Nice job blocking that baseball, keeping it right in front by Willeen Rosario.
Yoeli Chassin, 5 innings, 3 hits, a couple of walks, no strikeouts. He had 6 fly balls, 6 ground outs. He has thrown 63 pitches through 5.
George, when Stanton was drafted out of high school in Southern California, he was 6'5", and then he had the same thing happen to him that happened to me. He started growing later on in life because he's close to 6'8" now.
Is that what happened?
Yeah. He is 6'7.5", though the media guy doesn't list him as such. He and an old friend of yours, Josh Johnson, both almost 6'8". Big 2 forwards on a hoop team.
Josh played a lot of basketball at Jinx High School in Tulsa.
Alex White zips a fastball past Stanton for a strikeout. 1 out in the 4th inning.
A good pitch where it is. See, the ball's down. Just look at the sink on that 91-mile-an-hour fastball. I mean, that looked like a boat anchor as it got to home plate. Mike Shaw, Subaru Supermo. Right underneath the bat. Of course, you can also look at Stanton's head pulling off the baseball a little bit. Never saw the thing.
Greg Dobbs singled to left. When the season started, the Marlins had very high hopes, terrifically optimistic, opening up a brand new ballpark. They'd spent a ton of money in the offseason. Heath Bell. They brought in Jose Reyes. Mark Burley, who was with Ozzie for so long on the south side of Chicago. They flirted, seriously flirted with Albert Pujols.
Made him a heck of an offer.
And they thought they had a great right-left combination on their bench. Greg Dobbs, who's been a terrific pinch hitter. He's on the left side. Austin Kearns on the right side. Well, what's happened is Dobbs has had to play virtually every day. Now, he's had a terrific year. He's hitting over 300 after that hit. But a lot of young players have been forced into action because of injury and guys not performing. One of those guys down in the bullpen who really hasn't performed well is Heath Bell.
Heath Bell, 19 saves so far. You'll say, well, that's not quite so bad, but he's had about 8 blown saves.
They spent $191 million in the offseason.
Well, that's not very much if you say it really fast.
Or it's coming out of some, or it's coming out of somebody else's piggy bank.
Well, there's a little heat on Larry Beinfest and Michael Hill down there. Because they did spend all this money, brand new ballpark, they want to make the splash. And instead, somebody forgot to fill up the swimming pool.
2-1 on Dobbs. Lee at first base. Yeah, there was a time you had to watch Carlos Lee. He'd sneak attack you on the bases occasionally. There's another base hit for Dobbs.
Yeah, did a nice job on a ball away from him. First at bat, slashed it into left field. This at bat, he got a ball up and got it out over the plate and took it to right field. Coors Field is available year-round for special events. Most areas of the ballpark can be reserved, so call the Rockies, 303 Rockies, for more information and set your date in stone right here. Why not get married here? Great spot. Advantage for White right now as you're working in the bottom half of this lineup. Solano has struggled with men in scoring position. 192, 5 for 26.
One and one on Donovan Solano. His brother Jonathan Solano, a catcher with the Nationals. And a ground ball slowly hit the short. Herrera's got to go across the diamond. Runners moved to second and third, 2 outs. The Rockies in the same situation as Ozzie Guillen's team a short while ago. You have the 8-hole hitter up with first base open and 2 outs. Here's another look at Game Connect Live, brought to you by Root Sports. You can see as we scroll down the ball to strike ratio, not quite as good as Ricky Nolasco's.
No, not yet. And again, you're looking at his pitch count, supposedly 23 remaining. As this goes down, you watch that tracker also take it out of here, and you're working in the 4th inning.
And this kicks away, and here comes Lee, and he's going to score. Now it's even. Both teams have a run on a wild pitch. Marlins now have a 2-1 lead. So the Rockies elect to pitch to the rookie who does not have a hit in the big leagues yet. He only has a few at bats. Rob Brantley, and the first pitch is a dirt ball.
Yeah, well, look where this ball hits too. Let's take a look at that. Ball's behind the home plate area. Rosario has shifted his weight out well. The hands have made the V here to try to keep everything out in front. Trouble is, it hits this. Hits right on the heel of the glove, and when it does, it's going to ricochet away from him quite a distance. I mean, fundamentally, everything good.
2-0.
You can see how that ball is. I mean, it's going to hit right on it. That's going to allow Lee to come in. Pretty good, sizable man coming into the home plate area.
And now at the count 2-0, Rockies will go ahead and walk Brantley and pitch to Ricky Nolasco.
Kind of one of those stats you don't like to see, but in this ballpark you may see a more than usual wild pitches. 67 wild pitches now. That's the most in the major leagues. You're trying to keep that breaking ball down in the zone. Sometimes you're going to bury it in the dirt.
Inside, ball one on Nolasco. He struck out swinging in the third inning. So the leadoff walk ends up coming around to score.
On the other side of things now, as your pitch count starts to climb, your bullpen will start to get busy. There's 71 pitches now with White on the mound. Cruised along through the first four. I should say the first three. Bo McLaughlin's going to go out and have a conference with him and talk for a second.
Got 24 pitches in this inning.
National League average right at about 16 per inning. It's frustrating too for Alex White when you know that what you're trying to do is bury that curveball. It gets by Rosario, but not only that, 2 outs in the inning. You've fallen behind 2-0 on the pitcher Nolasco.
A little surprised that Nolasco got a green light. 2-0.
Very surprised, and he wailed away at it. Wow. His career hitting a .140 average in his career. He's got 42 hits and 300 at bats.
It's popped up over the Rockies dugout.
Ottavino, the right-hander. Jim Tracy had said he'd be the piggyback guy today. He is up and throwing right now in the Rockies bullpen. And what a nice sign off waivers that was.
He's had a very good year. He had a 10-day period where he scuffled a little bit. Other than that, he's been really good. 2-2 on Nolasco. Dobbs at third. Rob Brantley's at first. 2-1 in Miami. Swung on and missed. So Alex White strikes out Ricky Nolasco. A run comes around on a wild pitch by White. 2-1 Miami.
One, as we head to the bottom of the fourth, that's where Michael Kadire is due up. You know, he is back from the disabled list. He went on the disabled list in early August, and since then, the Rockies collectively as a team have been hitting .310. So I asked Kadire, you worried about your job with all this new young talent?
I thought I was going to be, tell me to stay down there for a little bit longer, maybe a little longer of a rehab. But no, it's good. It's good to see the guys playing well and, playing a little more relaxed. And I think that's the big key is, you got to go out and play the game and not be tentative, not be scared to make mistakes. And they've been able to do that the past couple days.
Well, one of the guys he's referring to, of course, is Eric Young Jr., who has seemed to earn his starting role on this team. Jim Tracy said, I'm going to continue to ride him in that lineup card. He has earned that spot. So it actually gives Jim Tracy some options with Kadire back. And, guys, it looks like he'll primarily be playing first base for the meantime.
Yeah, no question. And with Todd's issues even prior to the surgery, you're seeing Kadire at first base quite frequently. Michael's comfortable there. Came up as a third baseman. He's played a lot of second base at the big league level. 0-2 the count on Kadire. Got him on a slider away his first time up. Nolasco, George, looks like he's having one of those games where he's really on. And again, you see both from Nolasco. You see him where, as I said earlier, he can be dominant, and then he has his nice, every pitcher does, where he has the tough evening, but sometimes he'll have streaks of 4, 5, 6 in a row that are tough, and then he reels off 4, 5, 6 in a row, and you think he's Josh Johnson.
Well, 1 and 5, 668 earned run average after the break. That was not good when you thought about that. Ricky Nolasco, now all of a sudden things changed around. What I've noticed tonight, he's had great command of his changeup. Very good command of the breaking ball. There's that hard sinker that just goes foul down the third baseline. And when he's needed to go get the hard slider, 83 to 84, he's gotten it. Almost acted as if it's a cutter. We talked about his percentages in the very first part of the game when we discussed Nolasco before the start. Well, and this is what he throws coming into this ball game. And what I'm trying to show here is, look, there's no one dominant pitch. I mean, fastball's 43% of the time. I'll guarantee you the league average is 60. They're going to try to live off their fastball. He throws everything at you. And if all 4's working, or 3 of the 4, you're in for a long night. He's really controlled damage well. He struck out Carlos Gonzalez twice. He's gotten outs when he needed it on the ground.
Two, and again, it's a dirty slider.
That's late snap on that slider, too.
That is 6 strikeouts, 3 in a row for Ricky Nolasco.
All year long we've been showing you the Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo. Well, now we have the Mike Shaw Subaru Super Moment for you, just to show you what this camera can do and how neat of a device it is for us. Thumper decided to get thumped, and he got thumped good. How about that? Is that not cool? That's awesome. Did he blink? I don't know. I don't think he did.
Let's get Thumper and do it again.
Let's do it again.
That's Scott Malenkoff. He's known as Thumper. Most people don't even know his first name, but I have to wonder if he'd get extra pay for that.
Yes.
He is?
Yeah, he gets another Root t-shirt.
Huh. Willeen Rosario at the plate, a 2-0 count on Willeen. Hit a home run a couple of days ago, his 19th, hit it out to center field. And this ball driven toward right center field. Stanton coming on and making the catch.
Yeah, look, off the end of the bat made it a little bit more difficult. I'd like to see something else besides water. I want to see if anything can stick to it. What do you think? Let's do this. How about some green Jello to match his green shirt?
What's going on?
Isn't this nice? Huh? Look at this. Oh, I like it. Stop it right there. Stop it. Stop it. See right there, and then you get, it's so nice, and then it could be like in a monster movie. green slime.
What? Who volunteered Thumper for that
He
job?
volunteered for it.
And a pop-up to second base. Solano makes the catch. That's 7 in a row. Retired by Nolasco. 2-1 Miami. Oh no, it's the pie now? Wear it. The first inning for Alex White went smoothly. Brian Peterson hit a 2-hopper to Michael Kadire. Gorkys Hernandez hit a chop to third. Pacheco would throw him out. And Jose Reyes would hit a ground ball to DJ LeMahieu. Really good start for Alex White. Learn about energy efficiency and how to save money in your home by visiting responsiblebynature.com. But Alex was not as efficient after that. And he threw 73 pitches, gone after 4 innings. That's the third straight start that Alex won't go beyond 4. Now he's given up only 2 runs.
Now, Ottavino's been pretty special, though. Earned run average 411. You see the 6 holes, record of 3-1. Would like to pick off another one right here. He'll be asked to give you a few innings because he'll be up third in the bottom of the 5th inning. He's given up 8 home runs in those 50 in the 3rd innings. 53 strikeouts. He's walked 22. Very powerful slider. Good fastball in the mid-90s.
Brian Peterson 0 for 1 and a walk. Alex White 4 innings, the 2 runs, 3 hits, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. Actually, let me correct that. 3 walks, 1 intentional. .94-mile-an-hour fastball.
Gaining confidence with every outing here because you'll see just a 2-pitch mix, fastball slider. Really utilizes that slider, both left and right-handed batters. Not scared to take it to either side. It is a power slider. Only a couple of hits in his last 7 1/3 innings. Well, 7 2/3. He's given up 0 runs.
Told this story last time he pitched in San Francisco. He throws a split changeup frequently in bullpen sessions, and he'll do it in between innings, and he finally broke one out in the game the other night. But as George described, he's a 2-pitch mix, and here's a ground ball to second. George, for a guy that throws in the mid-90s, I mean, easy heat, 94, 95, 96. He throws that slider half the time.
He does, because I think a lot of it's the fastball works up in the zone, the slider constantly moving down, and a swing and miss pitch. Let's take a look at the trivia. Who do you get all these guys?
Well, it's one of the great, I think, Major League Baseball questions. Again, on this date, 1948, Babe Ruth passed at 53.
Doug, don't give him the answer.
In the first Cooperstown class. Who are the other 4 players? And we'll show you after this pitch to Hernandez.
And I thought one of them had to be Cy Young. Wrong.
Well, Ty Cobb, Christy
Yep.
Mathewson won 373 games. The Big Train, Walter Johnson, Honus Wagner, the great Pirate. So who wasn't in that first class?
Well, like I said, Cy Young, 513 wins.
Yeah, 511.
So he was out.
Well, the second class had Cy Young. John McGraw and Connie Mack went in that second class. George Wright, Tris Speaker, and Nap LaJoy. 1 and 2. The hall actually didn't open until 1939. The first class was elected in 36. That misses. So the first induction ceremony up in Cooperstown in the Catskills was a ceremony for the first 4 classes. Speeches went for 3 days. Strike 3.
Days.
Hernandez kind of hanging around the plate. It's not going to change the call.
Probably got a little bit of an argument here. Ozzie didn't like it either. He's got a little bark right now, trying to get a little more bite on Larry Vanover. Roundabout slider pulled to the inner half by Willeen.
And it always gets the attention of a manager, even though they can't really see east and west. They're seeing where a catcher sets up, and the way he received that ball didn't appear that it was a strike. Herrera's throws high, and it's going to go into the crowd. He had to rush it because Reyes can fly. Kind of stuck in his glove for a moment. You see a rare error on Johnny Herrera.
And a lot of that due to the fact that Reyes is hustling down the line. Well, right here it is. He's going to come in and catch the baseball, bobble a little bit out of the glove, and then just airmailed it. Didn't have time. Once he had the bobble, not really a good time to be able to get the baseball with a proper grip to throw to first. So he had to hurry the throw.
That's first error he's made this year. First error he's made 23 games at shortstop. Carlos Lee has scored both runs for the Marlins, a home run, and he walked leading off last inning. Takes a strike. Lee's been a terror with runners in scoring position since he put on a Miami Marlins uniform. He's 16 for 35, a 457 average. Not this time. LeMahieu will throw out Lee. No harm done by the throwing error by Herrera. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th inning. It's a 1-run game. Can DJ LeMay, who tripled at third, pitcher's up. He said, you know what, I'm going to gamble. And the gamble pays off. He may have been out, but he wasn't called out by Larry Vanover. Therefore, he is safe. That tied the game at 1. Rockies trail 2-1. Coors Light freeze can. And here's DJ in the 5th inning. Rockies have 2 hits. LeMahieu's triple with 2 outs in the 2nd, and Eric Young in the 1st leading off had a base hit. And Ricky Nolasco has retired 7 in a row. He's got 6 punch outs.
Well, and really the difference between Nolasco and White. White had 74 pitches, 38 for strikes, and 36 for balls. So it's about an even kill back and forth. You look at Nolasco as he pitches now into the 5th inning, and he's throwing a slider for a strike. It's two balls and a strike. He's throwing 61 pitches, 39 strikes, 22 balls. So I mean, he's had better command of the zone.
He's got a late slider, too. Saw the strikeout of that ball moving really late.
Well, he's got supposedly 31 pitches left as you look here on the gas tank.
Yeah, and you see the 93 on the left. That's his average number of pitches per start. This ball punched to first. Carlos Lee. Eight in a row set down by Nolasco. And that'll bring up Johnny Herrera. Josh Rutledge getting another day off, George, on that quadricep that's been barking.
Yeah, probably a good thing, too.
Johnny started yesterday at short also. Ground ball up the middle, base hit for Herrera. So that ends the run by Nolasco of 8 in a row set down. It'll bring up Adam Ottavino. Toyota Talk comes your way in the 6th inning. It's 1 inning away, so fire us some questions, and we'll try to get to as many as we can. Text Toyota to 720-720. And again, if you text right now, you'll be entered to win a 1-year family membership to the Denver Zoo, so you can see the new Toyota Elephant Passage exhibit. Well, these Penn guys, most notably Ottavino, Renicky, and Torres. Good bunt. That's safe at first. Guided over by Ricky Nolasco. And another pitcher who can throw 95 but can't throw it 55 feet to first.
Why'd you have to bunt it to me? Not very good. Nolasco, I'm looking really quick, see how many errors he's got this year. That's the first one. I mean, he just throws it right into the dirt.
Good thing we didn't have a camera on Ozzie. I don't think that was a pretty reaction. 2 on, 1 out for Ewok.
That's why, even though you're only about 30 feet away.
And it's ripped right at the leg. Wow. Nothing you can do about that if you're Adam Ottavino. Nothing you can do about that if you're Eric Young Jr. He hit an absolute rocket, but it's right at leg.
Rockies 2-1. Giancarlo Stanton is due up for the Marlins. We told you earlier about his monster home run that we witnessed in Miami where it broke a scoreboard. But what was Carlos Gonzalez's reaction from left field?
That's exactly what I did. I mean, it was amazing because I was playing left field and the ball was going low, and you know, when that thing hit the scoreboard, I thought there was a bus coming into the into the ballpark. You know, it was so loud and fast. Happened so quick. You know, his power is amazing.
Power was amazing indeed. Drew mentioned it earlier, 122 miles recorded off of the bat of Stanton. If you remember, he was an all-star selection and set to be Carlos Gonzalez's teammate for Home Run Derby, but he ended up on the DL before and required a little bit of knee surgery. So he just came off the DL a couple of weeks ago, and maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, this one's hit really far, too. That Jenny left the bat at 116 miles an hour. We just recorded it up here. To dead center field, 3-1. Miami is 22nd of the year.
If you let a big man extend and let him generate some bat speed, you're going to have some bad results.
Where's everybody running to? Like, I mean, is there any doubt? That's a line drive about 440 feet.
Yeah, it was hit really well.
Greg Dobbs at the plate. Well, Jenny, you talk about timing.
I mean, sometimes you have perfect timing, right? Unfortunately, that's not the right timing that we wanted.
I was talking to Eduardo Perez, Jenny and George, who's the hitting coach for the Marlins. And Eduardo, of course, is Tony's son. Eduardo had a nice big league career. He played with Mark McGwire. He played with Bo Jackson. He said this kid at the same age is not even close in terms of raw power.
I'm not surprised.
He has more.
Watching batting practice today where they were flipping burgers out there in the help deal, hit it in there.
Down the line, foul. He hit one into the into the Help Burger little restaurant up there on the concourse, the Burger Shack. Into it.
What do you think that guy was thinking while he was flipping burgers? And here came a ball. Who threw that in here? The guy at home plate threw it in here off of his bat.
Two-1 on Dobbs, who's 2 for 2. Stanton now in 14 career games against the Rockies has 7 home runs and 17 RBIs. He's going to get the Barry Bonds treatment soon.
It's almost like Andre Ether type numbers. Excuse me, James Loney numbers. Remember when Loney did 9 RBIs in the one game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Something stupid that he did here. He always seemed to hit well here.
Furthest home run ever at Coors Field at 496 feet, Mike Piazza. Ground ball to short. Johnny on the move to Michael Kadire, 1 out. That'll bring up Donovan Solano. How about the perfecto by King Felix, the third of the year?
First time in the history of baseball to have that many perfect games thrown.
There was
one season.
Yeah, there was 2 in 2010. So we've had 5 perfect games in the last 3 seasons. There's been only 23 in the history of the game. And you know what's interesting? You had the perfect game yesterday, right? And here is Felix Hernandez. We want to talk about dominant. There wasn't even any sort of loud out. He struck out 5 of the final 6.
Well, to add a little more to it, it's kind of neat that he did that in front of that home crowd, too.
Well, check this out, George. What's the likelihood of this? So Hernandez throws the 23rd perfect game in the history of the game. There's Mark Burley. Mark Burley yesterday was the winning pitcher for the Marlins over the Philadelphia Phillies. The opposition pitcher for the Phillies yesterday, Arvada West's Roy Halladay. Roy took the loss. What do they have in common? Burley has a perfect game. Halladay has a perfect game. And King Felix threw one yesterday. 2-1 on Solano. Line drive left center. And moving over and making the grab is Carlos Gonzalez. 2 outs. And that'll bring up Rob Brantley looking for his first career hit. Yesterday's matchup between Doc Halladay and Mark Burley, just the 12th time in the history of the game that two guys had opposed each other who had thrown a perfect game. This is going to go to the right field corner, and Rob Brantley has his first career hit. It's a double. And the second base umpire, Jerry Lane, either knew about it or as Rob Brantley arrived there, he said, "Hey, that's my first hit," because Jerry Lane had his hand out right away. And the crew chief patted, Gary Thurman now has it. Crew chief Jerry Lane patted Brantley on the shoulder and said, "Welcome to the big leagues officially now."
Mislocation, trying to go away with a fastball, probably leaning on it. He got that inside heater and just turned on it.
So Nolasco at the plate. Oh, 2. Last year, Dallas Braden, who had thrown a perfect game, hooked up with Burley. Then you have to go back to 07 when Boomer, David Wells, and Randy Johnson hooked up. 05, the same matchup, Wells and Johnson. Same thing with 04, Wells and Johnson. Wells and Kenny Rogers in 01. A couple times, in fact, 3 times over a 2-year period. 3-1 Marlins after the Stanton home run. Sports is brought to you by Ford Edge, class-defining style, revolutionary technology. Ford Edge, go further. By AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. By King Soopers, more value for the way you live. And by Burger King, come play family food where every game piece has a prize. With George Frazier and Jenny Cavnar, we're at Coors Field. The Marlins lead the Rockies in the first game of a 4-game set. We're in the 6th inning, bottom half up. Tyler Colvin, Carlos Gonzalez, Michael Kadire to face Ricky Nolasco, who's been terrific. He's allowed a run on just 3 hits. The run came around on a wild pitch that only got about 10 feet from the catcher Brantley. DJ LeMahieu, a daring dash down the line. And had Brantley not looked toward the runner at first initially, he would have had LeMahieu at the plate. You'd be talking about a 3-0 game. The Rockies, George, this 3rd time through, can figure out Ricky Nolasco.
Well, that's what I'm anxious to see. Nolasco's done a nice job of altering his first pitch. He's throwing a front-end curveball. He's throwing a changeup. He's throwing a wiffle ball fastball. Number of different offerings first pitch. So obviously that takes away a little bit from the hitter. 2-run lead. The one main thing he wanted to do is not have anybody on base when this guy came up. Carlos Gonzalez able to accomplish that with a fly ball to center.
Cargo's been struck out twice, once looking. Lays down a bunt. It's a beauty. Eat the baseball.
And you know what? They'll happily give him that in a 3-1 ball game. Nolasco only a couple of ground ball outs. He has 6 strikeouts to go along with 8 fly ball outs, but only a couple of deep fly ball outs, one to dead center. There's that 2-seam fastball. Cargo squares around. Going to lay it down, and with everybody playing deep, no shot at all to make a play on this ball.
He may be the best bunter on the team, along with Eric Young.
Kadire, just like Gonzalez, struck out a couple of times. Chase sliders out of the zone.
Yeah, the 3-4 hitters before that bunt single, 0 for 4 punch outs. Downside 1-1. Real quick, George, we were talking about perfect game matchups, and I mentioned that's happened only 12 times. The first time it happened was 1966. It happened twice that year. Give me the matchup.
1966.
It happened twice. First time 2 guys had thrown a perfect game
Bob
had
Gibson
opposed each other. But Bob never threw a perfect game.
Just threw it out there. Sandy Koufax.
Sandy Koufax
and Juan Marichal.
Jim Bunning.
There you go.
They matched up twice that year. Fouled off, 2-2. Deep left field. Take a good look. You won't see it for long. We're all tied up. Welcome back, Michael Kadire.
Steady diet of sliders to Kadire, and that one hung up into the strike zone, and Kadire made him pay for it. 58 RBIs now to go along with 16 home runs for Michael Kadire. Nice to see that back in the lineup again. Watch this slider. Way too much of the plate. Nolasco knew it. See him put his hand straight in the air after he released the baseball. Kadire knew it more than anybody. A little flip of the bat, head down, and a soft jog to first.
Number 16 for Kadire. And it's 3-3 with Willeen Rosario at the plate. And he takes ball 1. There's just something different about having a guy. Now, Willeen's got 19 home runs, but he's a kid. He's a puppy. There's something different, George, about having legitimate protection for your best hitter.
When you have people you can surround, I mean, let's be honest, he does have the home runs, Willeen I'm speaking of, but he's also not a good breaking ball hitter. So you see when guys get on base, it's a steady diet of what he's going to see. This is a veteran guy that's 34 that has a wonderful track record. So that protection right behind Gonzalez adds only to make it a little better for him.
Jordan Pacheco 0 for 2 in a 3-3 ball game. 3-5-1, 3-5-1. Pacheco nearly hit one out to dead center field his first time up. Hernandez caught it up against the wall and then popped to second. And at bat number 2 this evening for number 22, Jordan Pacheco. This is popped to shallow right. Stanton with the long strides. Can't make the catch. That wind kept pushing the baseball away from him. Initially, the ball was out in fair territory. By the time Stanton got there, it was well foul.
Well, there is a strong breeze coming in from left field, pushing over to the first base side, and that's exactly what happened. This ball moved about 15 feet and got knocked down. Normally, Stanton would have been able to make a play on that baseball. His eyes never left tracking that ball. Solano tried to give chase also out of the second base position. Carlos Slate didn't have a shot, stayed out of the way.
You watch him run too, George, and you wonder why would anybody have recruited him in football, huh? What was Southern Cal thinking about?
Yeah, why not? Just throw him out there tight end, wide receiver.
1-2. When are you going to the Mohawk?
Me?
Yeah.
Never.
You know?
Might go to the shaved head thing, though. I started to do that in Oklahoma about a week ago.
You and Marty?
I was close. I was close. It was about 112 before I headed to San Diego, and I was out working, and I said, you know what? This sure would be nice just to wipe my brow and keep going.
I don't know if I'd recognize you. The Rockies have tied things up. Michael Kadire just off the disabled list. It's one in the seats to left. Three ball game, second inning. Carlos Lee pulled the hands in and hit one out against Alex White. And then a wild pitch with Alex White at the plate. DJ LeMahieu at triple scores. Fourth inning, a wild pitch by Alex White allowed a run to score. Carlos Lee coming on down. And then Mike Stanton, Giancarlo Stanton. His middle name, and went out to center field. 3-1. Bunt base hit for Carlos Gonzalez, and Michael Kadire put his head down and started jogging. 2-run shot a few minutes ago to tie this affair at 3. That look back brought to you by Cooney Lexus, where luxury has an address, South Broadway in Littleton. Brian Peterson in the 7th inning against Adam Ottavino. Slider is in there for a strike. 1-1. Third inning of work for Ottavino in relief of Alex White. 1 run allowed. That home run by Stanton that you just saw. Keep saying this, George. You know, the Rockies' record is not good. We all know that. Nowhere near what the Rockies had imagined would transpire in 2012. But it has obscured some pretty good stories. You know, Josh Rutledge has come up and done a good job. You have a developing catcher who's still working on the defensive end and consistency offensively, but he's hit 19 home runs, and Willeen Rosario. Dexter Fowler has emerged, hitting in the mid-290s. Eric Young Jr. And Adam Ottavino's been a nice find.
He has been a nice find. I think you can throw in Jordan Pacheco into that mix too, of what he's done at third base. And
Tyler Colvin.
Back. Tyler Colvin's done a very nice job with what he's doing. So all of those things obviously have been good. Ottavino, a nice find. They picked up off waivers. Johnny Wild, pro scouting director. Dave Holliday, who's Cardinals have them. Also Terry Wetzel, one of the pro scouts in the Kansas City area. Both of those guys have scouted the Cardinal organization extensively, and they both came in with Ottavino in high praise. Well, Ottavino a little bit over right now, but he normally a 1 pitch to 2 inning guy. He's going into the third inning, so that's why the busted thermometer. Like I said, I guess gas tank. Does that mean it's leaking gas? Is that what it's saying? I like the ball strike ratio, 730. Big difference there for him. What else we got on here? Let's roll the page down. What else we got happening around here, boys? There you go. See, full box score. It's kind of neat. Go ahead and check out what each Rocky has done, the pitchers.
Ball and a strike on Gorky's Hernandez. Hernandez is a guy that at one point early in his career was one of the game's better prospects. He can still go get it in center field. He runs very well, but the bat really hasn't emerged.
Not yet. I keep waiting for it to happen. It just hasn't taken off yet.
He's 0 for 3 tonight. He was hitting just $118 coming in. Boy, they're giving him a hard time at the clubhouse today, Hernandez. It's the modern player, George. A couple of his teammates were peppering with, all right, do you know who Jay Buhner is? He said, nope, never heard of him. And he goes, I only know big market guys. They go, okay, you know who Chuck Knobloch is? He goes, nope, never heard of him.
Isn't that a shame, though? And to me, that you know, Knobloch was a pretty good player during his era before he got the yips and he moved out to left field. Yeah, so Jay Buhner, huge power guy, big player for the Seattle Mariners. And again, that's today's game of players. You know, I mean, I knew all those guys playing for the Cardinals in the 60s. You know, the teams are going against, the guys are playing against. Glued to a radio at night, waiting. And that's grabbed some time, Pete.
2 outs as Hernandez is dismissed for the second time tonight. That's the third punch out for Adam Ottavino. Let's see what Jenny's up to again.
Yeah, Drew, the Rockies have been putting up some runs this week since they returned home, and that's the subject of our Dare to Compare tonight. Brought to you by Chevy Equinox, 32 highway miles per gallon. Outperforms its competitor Chevy, made for Colorado. Well, in the first inning against Milwaukee in that series, the Rockies produced 10 total runs. In all of August, they produced 14 runs. And coming into tonight, the batting average in the first inning, .318. And Drew and George, when you look at the top of your order right now and the way that EY's been producing, that's obviously no surprise. Of course, tonight he had a leadoff single. The Rockies just couldn't get him in.
Yeah, he's been fabulous. And we always talk about, Jenny, the leadoff hitter. Well, the leadoff hitter is guaranteed to hit leadoff one time.
That's right.
And so if you chance in that first inning, you don't know what's going to happen after that, obviously. This is bounced to short, and Herrera with the overhand throw gets Jose Reyes. The reason I'm laughing is that's the second time in the ball game he's hit one of those ones where you really got to go quick at Johnny Herrera. 3-3 game. As we go to the bottom of the 7th inning, bottom third of the order for Colorado. Stick around after the ball game Saturday for Rockies All Access. Get to know the next group of top talent that's been taking the field at Coors Field. You'll hear from Josh Rutledge, Willeen Rosario, Jordan Pacheco, and others. It's Rockies All Access. Generation next Saturday after the ball game. Ricky Nolasco still out there. He's allowed 3 runs on just 5 hits. The one mistake, Michael Kadire, he left a pitch up, a slider, and was hammered for a 2-run home run. And DJ LeMahieu with his second hit of the night, a single to go with an earlier triple, a leadoff single in a 3-3 ball game with Jonathan Herrera coming up, a good handler of the bat.
Matt Belisle getting loose down into the bullpen, so Ottavino's going to step out in the on-deck circle. He won't swing it. Jim Tracy tonight on his bench with Nelson, Rutledge, and Fowler. Hernandez there also.
Snap throw down the right field line. DJ LeMahieu may get to third. They'll shut it down at second. As Stanton was able to get to the baseball.
Now Brantley's had a little bit of a difficult time here. Trying to get through this ball game. He's had the wild pitch. He didn't throw the ball home. This time he had the snap throw to first base. Watch how he does this from the knee. It's just a slide back. It could have hit the bat of Johnny Herrera, maybe not, but either way, a high throw. They're not able to get to it. Good hustle by Stanton.
Johnny, you won't see that much. Johnny just flat missed a sac bunt on a pitch that was up, a very buntable pitch. 1-1. Ryan Webb warming in the Marlins bullpen. Former San Diego Padre. Lee will lob it to the second baseman Solano. Herrera gets the bunt down with 1 out. The go-ahead run in the person of DJ LeMahieu is 90 feet from the promised land. And the Rockies will use Josh Rutledge to pinch hit here for Ottavino. So you put the new hitter in, Josh Rutledge, and you look at the matchup with Ricky Nolasco. Of course, there isn't any. Josh Rutledge has been in the big leagues for less than a month.
And that gate's getting empty. They got 8 more based upon the fact that he's averaged 93 pitches per start. The other side over here, take a look at the ball strike ratio, well above the National League average of 61%. He's at 67% strikes right now. So St. Clair out for a quick visit on the mound with him.
Alex White's off the hook, and if the Rockies can cash this runner in at third base, Adam Ottavino will be on the plus side. 3 innings of 1-run work for Ottavino. Rutledge not in there the last couple of days as a starter because of a slight strain of the quadricep. The infield comes in. Situational at bat for Rutledge. 0-1.
Well, you see a lot of guys come off of the bench thinking first pitch fastball. That's normally what you'll see if it's a pinch hitter coming out facing a reliever. But a lot of times with a starter who's comfortable with their breaking stuff, you won't give them fastball first pitch. And Nolasco gave him good slider down and away.
He got a pitch to hit there. He fouled it back. Slider out over the plate, and it's 0-2 on Rutledge.
Get your tickets for Faith Day, August 19th, with a post-game concert by Third Day, presented by Grand Canyon University.
Oh, 2 on Rutledge. They set up away. And it's driven away deep to right field, and it is off the glove of Stitt. LeMahieu obviously scores easily. All the way to third is Rutledge. 4-3 Colorado. The kid comes through off the bench.
Now, what a player he has been for this Rocky organization since being called to the big leagues. It's not just base hits, it's big base hits, it's game-winning base hits. Stanton might have hurt himself chasing after this. The wind played a role. That came off of the bat. This young right-handed hitter got a ball down and away from him. All he was trying to do, get a ball airborne, and it turned out so much better. A triple off the wall and right field over the head of Stanton. And he trades places. Now the infield's in with still just 1 out and EY at the plate.
There's the Mike Shaw Subaru Super Mug. And watch Rutledge, even with a sore hamstring, George, he runs better than 95% of the league.
Yeah, strides are good. That's for sure.
I said hamstring, sore quadricep. EY at the plate. And the squeeze is on. The throw to the plate's not going to get him. EY safe at first. 5-3 Colorado. If a manager pulls out the squeeze, and Jim Tracy likes that play, it is most often done on the first pitch of an at-bat.
High fives in that dugout right now, and EY's seen a lot of high fives, and he's going to get more when this inning's over to get the Rockies up 5-3. Slapped the ball hard, and with Carlos Lee at first, a conversion this year, he hands the ball, an underhand flip, no shot there on Rutledge, and then EY safe at first.
And that was a safety squeeze, not a suicide squeeze. Rutledge did not break until the ball was bunted. What hasn't EY done, George, in the last couple of weeks?
Well, you liked it because I liked what I saw at the end of that play, looking down at the crowd in right field and yelling as he was safe at first and drove in that run. He is having a lot of fun playing the game right now. Play's going to come to the plate, safe there, safe at first.
EY takes off, and it's looped to shallow left. It's going to drop. Junior's going to go first to third on the base hit by Colvin. And that may be all for Ricky Nolasco. Carlos Gonzalez getting ready to come to the plate.
only one warming up down in their bullpens, the right-hander Webb. And so far, so good for Nolasco on Gonzalez, but that was early in the game. The stuff a little different now with just one out. One swing, this game gets ugly in a hurry. And he's utilized everything when facing Gonzalez. Well, Rutledge, hey, I'm just trying to get the thing airborne. I didn't think it was going to go off the guy's glove, go all the way over the wall, and I get a triple out of that deal.
Cargo is 1 for 3, a bunt hit. He struck out twice. 1 out. Junior at third. Tyler Colvin at first. Tyler can run a little bit. Fouled off. I want to go back to that swing again. I noticed 2 things about Josh Rutledge. It was an 0-2 count. George, he did a couple of things. One, he adjusted to the slider after seeing it twice. So it's within the at-bat adjustment, and also the approach. And he got out on his front side a little bit, but the approach was a 2-strike approach. I got to get it in play.
Well, I mean, it basically kept the same swing, but he did shorten up on the bat. And just thought nothing about that. Let's right back at it. We'll turn this double play ball. And I really like the way Colvin tried to get into Reyes. Didn't work out.
Cargo a bit frustrated. Can't get the run home. 5-3 though. The Rockies picked off 2. Time for our Home Depot doing more on defense. Well, you know how fast Jose Reyes is. He bounces one up the middle. Johnny Herrera's got to come get it, throw in one motion with something on it. And he just did get Jose Reyes. Johnny Herrera doing more on defense. Brought to you by Home Depot. We go to the 8th inning. There's Johnny at shortstop. The only change out in the field for the Rockies is on the hill. Matt Belisle will take over in the 8th inning. Carlos Lee, Giancarlo Stanton, and Greg Dobbs. So he'll get the sticky part of the lineup.
330 earned run average, 53 strikeouts, 60 innings for Matt. Opposition hitting .275 against the right-hander, but again, this is his inning. This is his time to shine. The 8th inning with the Rockies on top.
A base hit to center field for El Caballo. And that'll bring up the tying run in Stanton. Not the cat you want to see here. Giancarlo is 1 for 3. The one was a home run to center field. Did we ever get a distance on that, Dougie? 445 feet. That was a 445-foot line drive.
You called it. 440 coming out of here.
Needs a strike. And base hit to left field. And there are 2 men on with nobody out.
Well, 2 power guys comes up with a couple of singles. It does concern you. Dobbs has swung the bat well in this ball game. He's got a couple of hits and a ground ball to shortstop.
Hey, what Dobbs has done, George, he's really hit the ball well on the road. In fact, in New York on August 7th, he went hitless. That snapped a 19-game road hitting streak. He's hit 21 of his last 23 roadies with a batting average above 380 during that time.
385 with runners in scoring position against Matt Belisle in his career. 282, a 182, a 2 for 11. Excuse me, Dobbs is 0 for 5. Dunn is 2 for 11. Dunn's still in the dugout. What's that say, Dunn or Kearns?
Dunn,
You know, they may give me the wrong team.
Pitcher.
I know, they gave me the wrong team. How about that? I'll be all right. Just reading what's on the sheet. Dobbs 2 for no, I'm not even gonna try anymore. they've got this backwards on me, Dougie. I'm just gonna say this. Dobbs is 0 for 5. Kearns, who's still on the bench, is 2 for 11.
Okay.
There you go.
I'll buy that. 1-1 on Dobbs. Former Mariner and Philadelphia Philly.
Rex brothers also warming up now. In the Rockies bullpen. Rosario called timeout. Get on the same page with Belisle.
Low, 2-1 on the former Sooner, Greg Dobbs. You knew that, right, George?
You did too after you read it. I saw you sneaking into the media guide over there.
I did, because I thought he'd gone to Oklahoma, and I just wanted to double check.
Yes, he did. Long after me, though.
Yeah, well,
like way long after me.
Yeah. He wasn't born when you were running
exactly.
around Norman.
That's exactly right. Oh, but if he was, he'd have had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm sure he would have. Two and 2 on Dobbs. Nobody out. The Rockies ahead 5-3, top of 8. Lee at second, Stanton at first, and this is in the air to center field. EY will make the catch. You know, we've been praising the work of Eric Young Jr. in the outfield. Now his routes are really clean. He gets to a lot of baseballs. And then the conversation had always defensively talked about, you know, it moved toward Eric Young's arm, the fact that it's below average. Juan Pierre's been a pretty good outfielder for a long period of time. He's got a better arm than Juan Pierre does.
What you have to do is your infielder's strongest arm has to go to EY on the ball in the gap. He's got to be short in the distance for Young or a Pierre to throw the baseball. If you sit back and think they're going to throw it the way Gonzalez or Colvin does, that didn't happen.
So you've got to get out. Boy, Rosario took a shot right there.
Got him on the chest protector. He should be fine.
Yeah, right on the collarbone.
Yeah. It still stings. And the one on the collarbone that Ramon Hernandez took about a week ago kept him on the sideline for a couple of days. 0-1 on Donovan Solano, 0 for 3. He's playing second right now because Emilio Bonifacio has been out with a thumb injury. Double play ball. Good feed, and a good feed to first by Johnny Herrera. So 2 singles by Lee and Stanton, no problem. As Matt Belisle gets Dobbs, and then the double play ball off the bat of Donovan Solano. 5-3 Rockies, middle of 8. Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Hyundai's Summer Drive Sales Event now through September 3rd. By Sonic, if you like pina colada, you'll love Sonic's new Island Breeze Slush made with real fruit in your choice of pineapple or strawberry. It's Tropicool. By Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies tickets by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Wells Fargo Bank, member FDIC. And by Ram Trucks, now get a great deal on a new Ram truck at the Ram Summer Clearance Event going on right now. Michael Kadire will lead things off in the 8th inning, and it is still Ricky Nolasco on the hill. Rockies were behind 3-1. Kadire hit a 2-run home run in the 6th inning, and then in the 7th inning, the Rockies would come up with a pair of runs to take their current 5-3 lead. Kadire 1 for 3, and that's fouled off. Check the Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. Kadire got a hanging slider, a pitch that he struck out on twice, not this time. He hit it well into the seats in left center field. 16th home run of the year. Couple lefties tomorrow. Wade LeBlanc and Jeff Francis. Kadire, Rosario, Pacheco. And a strikeout for Ricky Nolasco. For Ricky, that's his 7th of the night. And you know what you're seeing here with Ozzie Guillen, George? I think you're seeing the influence of his long tenure in the American League, where you know what, the starter's out there for a while. You don't have to worry about him hitting. Obviously, in the National League, he does. But Nolasco, despite the 2-run deficit, out there in the 8th inning.
Oh, no, in 2 inning span, he gave up 6 hits, 4 runs. Other than that, he was pretty good through this whole ball game. He only given up 2 hits otherwise and 1 run. So, when his pitch count sitting at 99, he's throwing strikes. It hasn't fallen where they needed to pitch hit for him. And a couple of mistakes in the ball game have cost him. Other than that, he's pitched very, very well. Still showing a pretty good slider. Threw one right to Rosario there.
He got a hanger, missed it, barreled it, but popped it up. Reyes waiting. 2 outs.
You could say the tank is empty, but he's still out there. I don't get it. This is his average, folks. What we're talking about here at 93. That's what he averages on the year, and he's at 101. So Ozzie's let him go over what his typical average is. So that's why the tank reads empty. And again, 69% strikes. He's been very good at what he's done here so far in this ball game, except for a couple of innings.
Now, if you go on the Root Sports website, you can watch via Game Connect or use it to enjoy some statistical information. Just click on the Game Connect button on the Root Sports website. And that's going to be a base hit for Jordan Pacheco. So a 2-out single, the first of the night for Jordan, and that'll bring up DJ LeMahieu, who continues to swing it well. 2 for 3 tonight, triple and a run scored in the 2nd for LeMahieu, and a single and a run scored in the 7th inning. Ball and a strike on LeMahieu. They shade him slightly toward right center field. Mentioning Solano playing second base. Emilio Bonifacio potentially could be back on Sunday. Final game of this 4-game series. This is an 11-game road trip for Miami. Game 1 of an 11-game road trip. We'll also see Arizona and Los Angeles this trip for Ozzie. Last time the Marlins were on the road, it was an 11-game trip. The 2 teams that have to do the most traveling in baseball, 2 teams in kind of extreme locations, Miami and Seattle.
Well, there's nowhere close.
Yeah. Shallow center field. And Hernandez will get there. LeMahieu retired. Will go to the 9th inning. Rafael Betancourt will be on board, trying to nail down the Rockies' 4th straight win. Brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find their fares online only at southwest.com. By Jack in the Box. Get the All-American Jack Combo at Jack in the Box. It's a no-nonsense burger with fries and a drink for only $4.99 plus tax at participating stores. And by 5 Hour Energy. 5 Hour Energy fixes tired fast. Georgia night in Lodo. 5-3 Rockies as they attempt to win their 4th straight. There's Joel Klatt out in center field. Joel, how you doing, my friend?
What's up, Drew? I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for asking. Hey, how about a welcome back for Michael Kadire in the 6th inning, the big game-tying home run. We'll talk about Michael Kadire's return to the lineup. Plus, no doubt about it, 3 home runs tonight, Drew. With the wind blowing in, over the scoreboard, those were no doubters. My goodness, I know they only went like 12, 13 rows back. I think all 3 could have made the concourse if that wind wasn't blowing in. We'll talk about that, plus much more. Jim Tracy in the clubhouse. Drew, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. I mean, the Rockies are playing very good baseball, and they're 3 outs away from their 4th straight, as I mentioned. Chris Nelson, Joel's come in at third base defensively for George Pacheco. And there is Mr. Betancourt, George.
21 of 26 save opportunities, trying to nail down number 22. Appearing in his 45th ball game, the opposition still hitting just .218 against him.
So Rob Brantley will lead things off. Brantley, out of the 8-hole, has 1 hit, 2 official at bats. He was intentionally walked in the 4th. He doubled in the 6th inning for his 1st major league hit. This is just his 2nd major league game.
You see what he tries to live off that fastball for the majority of the time, 75% almost. Slider and change up occasionally to left-handers.
Austin Kearns has come out in the on-deck circle. Top bat off of Ozzie Guillen's bench. So here we go in the 9th. Rockies 5, Marlins 3. And he starts him out with a slider. A little surprised by that. 2-run game. You got to figure usually guy'd be taking a strike.
You would think so. And again, you got a strike throw on the mound, though. The report may be he's going to come right at you with fastballs 75% of the time. Get ready to hack and go up there and swing it.
Two and 0. The Rockies have played better baseball the last 10 days, and therefore Rafael Betancourt has been able to be utilized in the role that he wants to be utilized in, and that's trying to get the last 3 outs on the plus side.
Never good to come into a ball game just to get some work in to stay sharp. He's coming into games now that are very meaningful for him and this ball club.
And he gets a pop up left side. Johnny Herrera got a good jump. Cargo coming on. It'll be Johnny in foul ground. That was not an easy play. Let's catch Johnny Herrera, 1 out in the 9th inning. Austin Kearns will be coming up. Who wants tacos? Fans, if you'd like to receive text message alerts when the Rockies do score 7 in a game, as they've done the last 3 ball games, here's what you do. Text the keyword taco to 720-720. Message and data rates may apply. Feed your Rockies fever only at Taco Bell. We had tacos earlier.
Just a couple.
Yeah, I didn't get any.
I didn't have any. Why not? Doug, that's
Why
pretty
not?
good. Dougie, oh, Doug, that's good.
You ate them all. How many did you eat?
1, 2, 3. Those are small.
Kearns went around on a slider. It's 0-1.
Depends on how big your appetite is. And I have a big appetite.
I've never seen you with anything but. Austin Kearns against the Rockies down in South Florida this year in part-time duty, went 5 for 5 in that series. Again, the Marlins won 2 of 3. He also hit a home run. So big, obviously, anytime you're in a 1 or 2 run game in the 9th inning to get the leadoff man. And that much more so when you have some a guy on deck like Kearns, who's got pop. 1 ball, 1 strike on the former Red. Used to hit in the middle of that Cincinnati lineup with Adam Dunn. Dunn's had a nice bounce back year. Not so much for average, but he's leading baseball in home runs.
He's doing what they signed him to do. Home runs and knock in a few. By the way, Chad Tracy today 3 for 4 with 4 RBIs. For 2 RBIs. Brendan Harris 3 for 4 with 4 RBIs. The big story down at Colorado Springs, Yolis Chassin, 7 innings, 5 hits, a run, 3 walks, no strikeouts, but he goes 7 and he threw 91 pitches, 55 strikes. So he got extended just like they wanted to see and come out of it hopefully healthy tomorrow.
Yeah, very efficient, and more than likely his next start will be with the big club. 2-2 on the pinch hitter Kearns. In the air to left center field. Easy play for Gonzalez. 2 outs.
Got it in on his hands enough, didn't allow any carry. Anytime you get a big guy at the plate, the last thing you want to do is be able to allow them to do a lot of extension. So this ball's going to run on the Mike Shaw. You'll see it. It's right down below the label of the bat. You're going to take a little bit of that sweet spot away from him and didn't get the ball lifted out of the ballpark.
2 outs, nobody on. Brian Peterson, the last hope for Miami. Strike 1. George, you get used to that Miami Marlins thing as opposed to Florida Marlins?
Well, I practiced.
Did you?
Yeah, before I came back. I was practicing at home. I did for about 10 minutes.
There you go. Way to prepare.
Didn't work out. I'll say it's before the weekend's over. Because I know you did. At least once.
Well, after I mean, they've been
And it's
around
only
since '93.
It's only natural. Come on. It's like the Los Angeles, whatever they are. How about the California Angels?
1-1 on Peterson. Ground ball right side. Nice play. LeMahieu spinning. Got him at first. That's the ball game. Great play by DJ LeMahieu. Rafael Betancourt a 1-2-3 ninth as he nails down his 22nd save. The Rockies have won 4 straight. Josh Rutledge in the middle of that rally to put the Rockies ahead. Game-winning RBI, in fact. A pinch hit triple. Adam Ottavino out of the bullpen gets the win. He's now 4-1. Ricky Nolasco takes the loss. He went the distance. 9-12 now. His first complete game of the season. The Rockies win it 5-3. Tonight's delivery of the game is brought to you by Jimmy John's, America's favorite sandwich delivery guys. Josh Rutledge facing an 0-2 count, and he got another slider, and he drove it over the head and off the glove ultimately. Giancarlo Stanton, DJ LeMahieu would score. And then 1 pitch later, Rutledge scored on a squeeze by Eric Young Jr. Visit JimmyJohns.com to find a location near you. Great to see smiles at 20th and Blake. The Rockies perfect so far in this homestand. 5-3 winners tonight. Stand by. The Twitter postgame show's next.